Hello, and welcome back to Closing and Cuddles. My name is Karen Barrios from the Barrios Co., and I am also here with Ray Barrios.
Hey, everybody.
We are so excited because today we're talking about the 5 top reasons why you should move to Pine Mountain Club this 2023.
2023, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So this is the extended version. This is the unabridged. We do have a longer or shorter form version that we actually linked out to. So you may have found us organically. You may have found us to that video. But this is kind of like our anecdotal, personal experience, us living there full time and kind of having that breadth of knowledge to share with people. That's
Correct.
what this video is. That one is very, SEO, very optimized for search engines. This is very conversational and kind of like our personal experiences. So
Correct.
it's a platform to be
Correct.
a little more long-winded.
So if you just want to go and learn about the 5 top reasons to move to Pine Mountain Club, you can go to that video. It's really short.
It'll be linked below.
A link below.
Yep.
But today we're going to talk a little bit about personal experience and knowledge that I've gained also from knowledge that we've gained working as realtors and as being part of the community. And I'm excited to start. So what's our number one? What is the number one reason why people...
Top. And this would be a top reason for any neighborhood is actually price point.
Yes.
So the price point is very economical. It's very approachable, comparable to other mountain homes. I honestly don't think there's a better bang for buck mountain community in Southern California other than Pine Mountain Club.
We love Pine Mountain Club.
Yep.
I mean, that's actually the reason why we decided to, because when we were, we've always had, ever since we were dating and got married, we always had a desire to buy a mountain property and have a retreat in a place where we could.
There's always like a retirement aspiration.
Where we could get, where we could get away and where we could build traditions and we can bring our families and enjoy. So when we were looking at mountain communities, the first, of course, mountain communities in Southern California we looked at were like Arrowhead, Big Bear, Crestline. Tehachapi was a little too far. Bear Springs, Idlewild, they're a little too far for us because at the time we were still living in the valley, right? And we wanted to get something that we could just go for weekends because all our work was in the valley or, close to LA. So when our dear friends invited us over and we checked out Pine Mountain Club in the springtime, we fell in love with it and we just decided to purchase there.
Yeah, decided to make the move.
To make the move.
Very approachable. Depending on what consumer website you're looking at. I think you said Zillow had it floating around 400 and some change. Realtor had it like at 382 and some change. Those are pretty accurate. You can get a nice, beautiful, maybe not turnkey, but it's going to be in good shape for what it is. You get a nice home for high 3s, low 4s.
Correct.
And you can't really find Big Bear good. Like if you find something that cheap, man, it's a box. Like that thing is going to need some work. It's going to need,
Yeah. And I think that was, you got to just really think about a lot of things. But right now we're talking about point number one, price point, right?
Super
and affordability.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I tell people all the time where they're looking in Pine Mountain Club. We need to explore so much more than just the price point, but I know that's what brings a lot of people to Pine Mountain Club because it's a good entry point, especially for first-time home buyers, because when you are competing against 6, 7, 8 average in the Valley in LA for something affordable, then
and at that price point you're looking at condos or townhomes. It's not a house.
I mean, some now some houses depending on condition, but I mean I feel like this is a great place to start price point wise. You're gonna
it's just kind of bang for buck, the best place that you could move. You get obviously there's all the other pros that come with that price point, so that's the cool thing. And I think people don't zoom out far enough in Zillow to realize that Pine Mountain's even a thing. So when you finally realize it and you look at the price points, you're like, I'm going to go shop there. That's usually how our clients find us.
Well, that actually leads to our next number 2 point why.
So number 2 point is we had it. It's in the video. It's the proximity to just kind of the major cities in SoCal. Yeah.
Location. What do they say in real estate? Location is so important when buying a property. And I think that Pine Mountain Club is, what is the tagline and the slogan for here?
It's either it's either flip flop, but it's I think it's like the nearby far away or it's the far away nearby. It's one of those. Yeah.
And the thing is that a lot of people don't know about Pine Mountain, but it is so close to LA. It's about an hour and a half. And we've done it. Like we've done it from LA. We've done it from Burbank. Obviously, depends on timing. Sometimes the freeways, if you're going in, rush or really traffic high hours, then of course it's going to add to that commute. But, and you're about 60 minutes, about an hour from Santa Clarita in Bakersfield, which is incredible because a lot of the times when you live in the valley, you don't want to have to travel 2 to 3 hours to go all the way to, Riverside County and go to like Arrowhead Baker. We would do that travel all the time, right? With like church and friends and, loved ones for the snow.
Right.
But when we learned about Pine Mountain Club and the proximity, it was a no-brainer. It was like, this is only an hour away from everything we know and all of our loved ones. We know this is a really great opportunity.
Right. And I think because of it is a pretty lax commute, even though it's just a straight shot through kind of like these deserty hills. And obviously you're going to hit traffic when you hit the city, but because of the mild commute going to the city, like arriving to the city, because of the improvement in infrastructure in PMC to be able to like telecommute, work online. For us, we're kind of deeming PMC the hybrid heaven of 2023.
Woohoo! Yeah, hybrid heaven of 2023.
So if you're a hybrid worker, you only got to go to work a couple times a month, once or twice a week, and you're able to kind of unplug and go to your house, like a nice single family residence in the middle of the mountains, then PMC is actually the perfect place to do that because you're close enough proximity to drive to an El Segundo, a downtown, a San Fernando Valley, a Santa Clarita. And that hybrid heaven status allows you to be able to make those trips once in a while, but come back to a place where it's like, it's serene, it's quiet, it's peaceful. It's your home, it's your house in the middle of the woods.
Yep.
It's the perfect place for somebody that has a hybrid situation. And obviously remote workers too. It's a perfect place if you're a remote worker and you're surrounded by the forest every day. And
that's what I tell buyers all the time, that you got to really think about lifestyle in the mountains, in the national in the middle of the national forest. We're actually in Los Padres National Forest. When you think about living and now that we live in it, it's just so quiet, so serene, so beautiful. And it really has even improved our health, not just physical, mental. We definitely could, be working out a little bit more, but overall it's really helped our health in general. Right. So we really, really love that.
Yeah, so the commuting aspect's super important. And I think going from that, it's also just a really awesome small mountain town. It's like a legitimate, when you hear small town, it's what you would think a small town is. Like Big Bear, Big Bear, Arrowhead, a lot of like the mountain communities, Mammoth, these places that we're very familiar with in SoCal. There's a lot of franchises. There's a lot of there's a lot of commercialization in those areas. So even though you're trying to get away from the city, you're almost, there's still a lot of familiarities where it's like, I still feel like I'm in the city, but I have a better scenic backdrop. This is PMC for sure is a place you go to. There's mom and pop shops. It's a small community. You know your neighbors know you. There's Facebook groups where everybody kind of interface with each other. And it's the kind of stuff you lose in the city. Like you feel kind of, even though your neighbors are on top of you, you feel a little detached because you don't really know them, and you don't get that in PMC.
Most properties in Pine Mountain Club are a quarter of an acre, so it's really nice because most people, depending on where you're at, obviously, if you have a hillside property, you're not going to have, your lot's not going to be potentially usable as far as space, but it's for those that live not in that scenario. You're going to be seeing your neighbor, and it's going to be really close. I mean, I can't guarantee that you're going to have really incredible neighbors. We do. Yeah. We love our neighbors, and we feel very supported, and I hope they feel just as supported by us. They've communicated that, and we feel like not just that, but the community, the fact that we're real estate agents, of course, connects us even more to the community in different levels. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's definitely a pro for us. So a pro, affordability was there. So that was a check for us. No, we got the best buck for, we've got the best property for, what we paid for. Yeah. Number two, proximity and location, right? And I'm not just talking about commuting and that proximity. I'm talking about the scenic, the peace. And then for me, really that small town feel is exactly what I wanted in getting a mountain home. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like for us, this was the perfect fit because it fit with, so far, these three really fit in our checklist. I know some people may really, and again, like I mentioned, there's going to be that that community aspect of it,
Right.
where, you know, we have events, we have clubs, you know, we are actually part of an incorporated property owner association. So there's a little bit more regulations and limitations and things that kind of unite the community, because they have
Right.
to be in line with all those. But it's, you know, what I'm saying is that for us, we wanted that small field. We wanted more of a remote, you're really getting away to a cabin, not so much, okay, there's a McDonald's, there's a Whole Foods, there's a Vons, there's a Stater Brothers. And sure, I think that that's fun. But I think for what we were looking for, we really wanted something off the grid. And this gave us that.
Yeah. And it's still pretty, we say off the grid, but it's still like there's enough infrastructure for you to live there. But it's not to the point where it's like, I'm overwhelmed. Like I'm trying to get away from this. And there's like a 25 car line in front of the Starbucks. Like it's not that, which is what's so refreshing.
Yeah, there's no stoplight. I mean, there's stop signs, but there's no lights. There's no
stoplights.
Street lights.
At night, it's pitch black. You can see the
Pitch
stars
black,
like crazy.
25 miles per hour. And that's another thing too about this location, that we just felt like this is really a retirement community. This is really a getaway community. This is really a quiet, peaceful community.
You can get away. It's a getaway spot for sure. You can get away from whatever you're trying to get away from. It's the perfect city for that. And I think another thing that leans into, and it may sound like we're overselling, but this is the pros list. There's gonna be a con list.
Yeah.
We're gonna be impartial, and in that one we're gonna bash it based off of our experiences, and obviously you have to buy the lifestyle. So we want to sell both sides, because it does take both sides to know, like, this is the right place for me.
Correct.
Or this isn't the right place for me. But the fourth thing, which is really cool, SoCal, we have so many evergreen trees, so many pine trees and palm trees, kind of things that don't have seasonality to them. Like the leaves don't ever fall off and change. PMC, that's not the case. We have a spring. We have a proper spring. We have a proper summer. Once fall comes, everything turns golden and yellow, and it starts falling. It's picturesque, right? It's a postcard backdrop. And then obviously in winter, we have a light SoCal snow, where we do have snowstorms, and it's probably some of the best powder in terms of like the snow texture that you'll ever experience in your life, just because it's untouched. You don't have people skiing it and snowing. Like it's untouched once it hits the ground. So you can touch it. It's airy. And I think that 4 seasons is another reason, like, you get to experience that in a deserty SoCal environment. It's awesome to be able to experience all 4. The air changes, the smells change. You got the smell of the firewood, you got the smell of the barbecues. And I think all of those things, it's like, this place, I get to feel everything that the year you're having. It's not always just like sunny 75 all year, which is great, but it's nice to have some difference and experience the seasons as they come.
No, I definitely love that. And I think, we were talking about this and how our experience with snow prior to even, I had 2 experiences with snow. When, growing up, you go to Lake Arrowhead, Big Bear, and you're pulling off to the side of the road because you're like, oh my goodness, there is snow, and it's brown and black and crusty and hard to play with, and they throw it at, they do a snowball and it really hurts because it's like so hard.
It's like an ice cube.
It's like an ice cube. And then obviously living in New York and living in the East Coast and having that perspective too. But in that season, I was so work oriented that it wasn't really so much like play in the snow, or, obviously I had my, skating days and things like that with friends and loved ones. But in the city, you mean business. So it's a whole nother different kind of winter mindset. But in Pine Mountain, when we first experienced that first snowfall, once we moved and lived there that first winter, was just magical for us. And it's just gorgeous. I mean, our house is really close off of the Greenbelt, we call it, which is, protected forest. And we always walk through through our neighbor's yard to kind of get to, as we have access to it to the Greenbelt. But it's easier to kind of go through theirs versus a little, anywho. Yeah. And we love to play there in the snow and with our dogs and have them run and kind of do what they need to do. And it's so fun to kind of just experience so much of the mountain and just so much of what comes with winter without you having to, with you really enjoying and sinking into that snow. And,
exactly.
And I even made a snow cones.
I was going to bring that up.
That was kind
I
of
remember
not.
we made it, and
This is kind of funny. I don't
maybe we
recommend
were
it, but-
too like naive or something. I don't know, but we let it collect in the cup, and it's like
But I kid you not, it took like 5. It was snowing that hard that
And
I put
when-
a cup
when
there,
we say
and I did
it-
it just for fun because I wanted to.
yeah,
wanted
it's
to
not like
see.
we went to the ground and scooped snow.
It wasn't like we were
So what we
scooping.
did, we put 2 cups on like the
I
little
guess-
banister, or whatever, is the railing
The
of the
railing
deck.
of our deck,
So
yeah.
we let it naturally collect, and then we put like lemon and tajin. So I mean, that's what we put in our snow
Because we're
cones.
Latinos, you know.
Yeah, we didn't put like juice or milk or anything. So we did that, and I thought it was really good. I'm like, this is really good. But then apparently your sister is like, oh, that was disgusting. And I'm like, why? It's natural
Well, we
snow.
were just experimenting because we were like, oh my goodness, this is like the fluffiest. Like it's better than when you go to like the mall and they make these snow cones, like, and it's like very fluffy. But I don't know.
Well, I'm just like, dude, why is it called a snow? Like, where did that name come from?
It's like
It had to have, like, people had to
we're
have done
diverting,
that.
but the point is, I mean, I don't know. But maybe you guys will.
No,
laugh at
comment
us.
below. Is it nasty to
Is
make
it nasty?
fresh snow cones?
I guess maybe people will like it. Maybe people will hate it. But
I'm
I
thinking
think,
your sister, she probably imagined like
I
the
think
dirty
she-
snow.
this is the
and you
thing. My sister, I mean, all of our experience has been we go to the snow, you pull up to the side like most people do, and you play with that nasty snow. That's what people think of when they think about snow in Southern California.
I don't know.
So the funny thing though, when it comes to just kind of going back to the point of we're in a 4
Well, that's
season.
good. No, the comment below is that nasty to make a natural snow cone out of freshly
I
fallen
don't think
snow?
so.
I'm gonna say
We
no.
only did it one time, but
I'm gonna do it again. When it snows, I'm gonna put my cup out. I'm gonna get a big old packing of snow. I'm gonna put some limon. I'm gonna put some tajin, and you can judge me, but that's coming from the sky. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too. At least I was okay with it when we did it because we were just having fun and we were experimenting and we were just anyways.
It's
was
fresh
fun.
snow, and the seasons are awesome. That's
Yeah,
our point.
the point is that the snow is even edible.
Yeah, it's edible snow.
According to us. But the one thing I will say about it being a 4 season is that it's funny because it would be snowing, and right, most people that know me know that right now I'm still going through my orthodontic process, and I would travel to Santa Clarita to get my normal doctor dental checkups.
Yep.
And it would be snowing in Pine Mountain Club, and I would go there and it would be like 60,
87 degrees or
whatever. Well, during winter it does,
something. Yeah. High 70s.
high 70s, 60s, but it was just night and day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like driving and there's like snow in my truck. And then
People are like looking
like,
at you from
like, where
Back to
is
the
she
Future.
coming
Like, where does she
from?
come from?
Where's she coming from? Right. Cause it's like, we're in Southern California, but the fact that
And
we're
it's that close that the snow doesn't melt by the time you get there.
Yeah. So I just love the fact that, it's, again, all of our checklists, this is exactly what we were looking for when we moved. Affordability, absolutely there. The fact that you could get properties in the 200s, 300s, 400s. I mean, obviously price points have increased since we bought, but like there's still regular opportunities. Again, location is so important.
Small, tight-knit community.
Tight-knit community. And then we're in a 4 season place.
So it's fresh air. Everything
fresh
sounds
air,
nice.
Spring, fall, like life is all about seasons. And I think Pine Mountain Club has a way of just, you get to be one with season,
Yeah.
right?
You reload. It's like, okay, the winter's over. You get excited for summer. And sometimes when you're always in the sun, it's just like, all right, I want a gloomy
And that's
day.
why I have and that's why it was such a natural, when we expanded to Bakersfield, it was such a natural expansion because a lot of our clients had properties in both areas and they were looking for support and our help. And it just kind of naturally, it was a natural kind of
Totally.
and next step for us. So it's exciting to kind of be able to have a little bit of both
But
too.
that's important too. So that's actually a big selling point, and we're selling PMC hard in this video because it's the pros video. But the summers are really mild, so we'd come from Santa Clarita heat. It can be easily over 100 on a hot day.
Oh yeah,
Bakersfield easily over 100,
over 100,
110,
yeah.
right? It's
Super
a
hot.
desert heat, and to go from that to PMC on those same days, it's about 89. You feel it.
90s. Yeah, you still feel a little bit of heat, but
It's like a 20-degree difference.
it's a 20-degree difference.
So if it's 90,
beautiful.
if it's 95 in the valley, then you could expect a 15-degree difference. So it's about 15 degrees cooler when you come up here.
Correct.
So obviously, if you acclimate to the area, AC is always nice to have up here. But if you're driving from LA up to PMC, you will not need AC that weekend because you're going to feel the coolness.
Most properties here don't have air conditioning, and
have
that
fans.
That'll be part of the the cons list. Not for us, but some people believe that that's a con, but that just kind of shows you that it's a pro because many people just didn't really find a need for that. Yeah. Obviously, with now temperatures rising. And even the winters out here have been lighter. Before they used to get 10 inches of snow, pretty tall snow. I'm talking about to your knees. Now we're talking about to your mid calf, maybe to your foot.
Yeah.
Like it's so light. Like this, it's not only a couple of times this year.
Yeah, this season we haven't had a ton. I think we usually get our stuff late January though, so I expect a couple more storms.
I expected a little bit more this year,
especially November. It was pretty light.
It was very light. So.
But mild summers. You get to have fun in the snow, and it's just you honestly probably add 5 years to your life breathing in the air every day.
No, it's the best air you can breathe. You can see the stars at night. You can, it's so quiet. And of course, it all depends where you live, and really, and that's one of the things that I tell my buyers all the time. If you can come day, night, most of the time it's going to be pretty consistent.
I always recommend to stay too, rent an Airbnb for a weekend.
Do an Airbnb and really make sure you immerse yourself into the community because that's one of my biggest things, right? Like, it's anybody could buy up here in essence. Well, not everybody. I know everybody has different financial backgrounds, but really it's so attainable. Think about getting a $200,000-$300,000. That's pretty attainable to a lot of people. And so affordability is there. Location is there. I always tell my clients, we need to explore and think about your lifestyle. Because if this community doesn't meet your lifestyle, then there's no point in you moving here. And that's the one thing I constantly say to my clients, because you can buy here, but is this really the best style and the best choice for you? Right? So you got to think about, of course, you can't just think about affordability. You can't just think about proximity. You got to really think about the small town feel, the practical of you living day in and day out in Pine Mountain and you living day in and day out in the Four Season community. So I think that for those people that are think about all that stuff and feel like check, which was us, of course, those were pros for us. All the things that we're talking about are huge pros for us and reasons why we moved and reasons why a lot of people choose to have a mountain home in Pine Mountain Club.
Yeah, totally. And I think lastly, it's just recreation. I think by the nature of it being in a national forest, there's a lot of campgrounds you could rent. There's a lot of trails. There's cross-country skiing in the winter. There's a ton of famous bike trails. There's OHV for off-roading in your truck or your side-by-side. It still offers all of those awesome amenities. Like when you go to the forest, I want to go camping. I want to do those things. Cool thing is it's right in your backyard. So you can have your family come out. They can stage at your house and you guys can go camping for the weekend. And then everybody arrives and, back at the HQ at the end of the weekend. But ton of recreation just because of the nature of it being smack dab in the middle of the Los Padres National Forest. So that's a huge thing is there's a lot of outdoor rec stuff.
Yeah,
that
I
people
love it.
Can tap
and
into.
We've done a little bit of everything.
Yep.
We've gone to the different campsites all around Pine Mountain Club. There's Mount Pinos, about 10, 15 minutes, from us. Yep. And, you also have Fraser Mountain. We've done, off trails in both those areas. Yeah. And then in Pine Mountain Club, we have our Enchanted Forest.
The local
trail, which is super awesome. We have the Waterfall Hike, trail, which is really popular too. And a couple other, a ton of other trails that are just really fun. We've done them during winter and, just summer, spring with friends on our own and with our dogs. And it's just always nice. That's what we were looking for. We weren't looking necessarily for a recreation like, I need a bowling alley. I need a cinema. Yeah. We weren't looking for that. I know some people were. And in that case, maybe that's what you need to explore this community. Maybe Pine, maybe Lake Arrowhead, Big Bear, Idlewild is kind of more like Pine Mountain is best for you. But if you're looking for more mom and pop shops where you for the most part can know your neighbors, everybody's, privacy is different. But we know all of our neighbors. We love all of our neighbors. We know the community. And there's a ton of clubs too, because we're an incorporated community and a property owner association runs Pine Mountain Club. There's clubs and there's committees and there's people that are very involved and do life in and out in Pine Mountain. And a lot of people are retired. So they really have a ton of time in their hands and do a ton of things. And it's nice to have all the outdoor recreation, but then we also have a village. Right. We have the Pine Mountain Club Village where we have an office right above La Leña. And there's a couple of restaurants. There's and coffee shops and merchant stores and one gas station. So there's kind of one of everything.
Yeah.
But
it's a small hub, so there's a lot of activity there. You know, on the weekends, you'll see people coming in, driving out. So it's lively on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, it's the busiest times in Pine Mountain is anywhere from Thursday to Sunday, which is why most restaurants are open then.
They're longer hours around those days.
Longer hours. All the, smaller shops are open there. And then that's when there's events and there's
concerts,
Halloween.
There's a bunch of events
festivals.
throughout the year. Yeah,
that's where they happen, and that's where the community comes alive.
So I think it's to each their own. You're not going to find a Crave Cafe. Like it's not that. This really is a place oriented towards families or even couples that just want. We have a couple clients. They're restaurant owners, actors, and they kind of just want a quieter scene. They don't even have kids. They may just have like a dog or a cat. And this is kind of that perfect vibe for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of creative people here.
Yeah, a lot of music people.
A lot of musicians.
A lot of actors. And it's not just the family vibe. But they come up here more from like a relaxation standpoint. Like I want a place to get away to. And it is that for them. But if they want to go to like a concert or they want to go to one of the local events or just hang out at one of the local restaurants, they have the options to do that. Or they just want to go to a hike that weekend. They have the options to do that. And I think that's what it is. It's not commercialized, and I hope it never becomes that. That's why it's special.
That's
it's a place
what appealed
to
us specifically. So again, for us, that was the pro. The fact that it was the recreation was really what you made of it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not looking so much for entertainment. I mean, I'm looking more for experience, and I think we create our own experiences. I know everybody in the mountain has had different experiences. For us, we've had a positive experience because we really are just value. We love to add value to people's life, and our path always aligns with those that think the same way as us. Right. And no matter where you're at, whether you're, your family, your young family, or you're a couple like us without kids, but you have some dogs, or just a couple and, don't have dogs. And I think there's a little bit for everybody. But you just got to remember that at the end of the day, we are a remote community, a remote mountain community. So that is going to mean that we're not going to be as, like you said, commercialized or as I don't know, what would be the other word, as fast paced as these other mountain communities that most people are used to.
I think it's hectic, to be honest. So, I mean, one thing you won't ever see up here, and this has happened to me a few times, it's probably happened to you, but driving up to more of the more popular spots where they do have like proper skiing and like downhill skiing and snowboarding and those kinds of communities in the mountains, there's bumper to bumper traffic. Yeah. When you're going up during peak hours.
Yep. Or peak seasons.
Yeah, like peak hours during peak seasons. I cannot I'm trying to get away from that. Like I sit in traffic. I used to sit in traffic for multiple hours a day. I probably wasted, 15 hours of my life a week in traffic. And to think like I'm going to go to a place that has just as much traffic in the times where I have the time to take off, because it's typically summer when I take my vacations, and I'm going from one place that has bad traffic to another place that has bad traffic. That just doesn't sit with me. If I'm going to pay a premium to live at a house, I want quiet and peace. And that's what PMC offered to us is we're not coming from like a city vibe to just going to a mountain city vibe.
Correct.
It very much is like a small place that we can like escape to, and there's a nice cleanse for the weekend or the week. And if you live up there full time, you get to experience it every day. We don't experience that. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I really love everything about it. And I think that these are things you really got to think about. Obviously, when you're specifically shopping or thinking about buying, talking to a professional real estate agent is going to be the best decision you can make, especially somebody local. I would encourage you for them to be local, especially if it's a mountain community. You want to understand not just from their perspective, but really as a collective, and ask questions, intriguing questions, because every single every single one of us has a different background, has a different story, and you need to ask the right questions for you, right? Like my requirements are not going to be the same requirements as you. Like, and we just need to make sure that if this, to the best of our ability, we give you the information, or we pinpoint you to the resources and the people so you can best make those decisions, right?
Yeah, exactly. So obviously this is on YouTube, so don't be shy. If you guys have questions about PMC and how it relates to some of the other bigger places you may have thought of moving to, even if you may have thought of renting out there long term or buying something permanently in a mountain community like a Big Bear, a Arrowhead, or a Pine Mountain Club, go ahead and comment below. We're more than happy to answer those questions.
Happy to answer any questions.
This is the unabridged. But we hope we got something out of this. We hope that you guys learned a little bit more. We know that a lot of people looking to move into the mountains always have a ton of questions. And for us, we couldn't find a ton of info that wasn't very niche or very specific to a place where it's like, okay, yeah, this is enough information for me to make that next step. So we hope that this is...
experience it too. At the end of the day, I would say come, rent an Airbnb, experience
all that good stuff.
Take that time to really do your due diligence and investigate, because this is a big commitment. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the pro and in the con video on how important it is to prepare and how important it is to really think about the cost of living in the mountain.
Yeah, definitely count the cost. But yeah, so any questions, put them down below. Please subscribe, please like the video. And we'll see you guys in the next one. But yeah, feel free to just engage. All the ads, all the handles are in the description.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere where you are, we are too. And if you have any questions and suggestions of new videos, send them over our way.
Cool. So until next time, Barrios fam. Bye.
Bye.